Hello, Laurence.
Hello, Mr. Carl.
Hello, Internet.
Good evening.
Welcome to Risky Rollers, where
Yes,
you think
welcome.
you know about how to play Warhammer and then you play Laurence.
Why me?
It's a prelude to our first topic for the afternoon because
Uh,
we had a friendly face off, didn't we?
we did
We
just last weekend.
we were able to play some Warhammer and we had to play each other and we'll talk about it a little bit. But you know, sometimes you think you
It's
know how to play Warhammer and then you get corrected.
red versus green.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do here at the Risky Rollers, please like and subscribe on the YouTubes. Press the button, press the bell so that when we get live like this, you get notified. Make sure you hit your notifications to all. Your support lets us do this. The more support we get, the more stuff we can do. So we'll leave that in the ball's in your court, chat.
Yeah.
Thank you to our channel sponsors, Dice Arcade, General Games, Baron of Dice, Hegemon, Miniature Scenery, and Proxywars.
So many.
So many. So many. Do you see how quickly I banged that one out? I'm getting good at this.
Yeah.
Hello, chat.
Uh,
I'm
ah,
very clear, but I'm very quiet. Okay, I will
me
talk.
too.
I will talk the loud.
How about my sound? How about my audio? Is it fine?
How is Lawrence's audio? You let us know how Lawrence's audio is. I'll just
So yeah, Carl will adjust his and then let
I
me
will
know.
adjust a little bit. Just a twidgen more. Maybe just a twidgen. Let's see if I can break my audio setup really quickly.
Yeah.
How are you, Lawrence?
Pretty chill. Like was very exhausted last weekend and now even more exhausted because we would need to prepare for something for this coming weekend and then just excited. So many things happened in the last week, especially last night.
It has been a big week of Warhammer. Uh,
Mm,
thank you, Al. Lawrence is good. Lawrence is always good. I'm glad that you can hear him. He's practicing using his microphone. It's awesome.
thank you.
Chat, let us know if you have any questions. We like to make this interactive. Chuck them out
Yeah,
in chat. We want to have a discussion with you guys. If we didn't like talking about Warhammer with you guys, we wouldn't be doing this.
yeah.
Well, given we started to talk about it already, do you want to have we'll have a quick chat? We both played in a GT last weekend
Yep.
over at hosted by
The
Mr. Joshua Diffie over at the gaming arena in Coburg, Victoria.
mm,
It was very fun, very competitive. Not a super lot of people,
very
but that's fine. But a lot of good players and a lot of good people to play against, which is excellent. Good fun.
rather very peaches.
And how did you do, Mr. Lawrence?
I ended up 4-1, so I lost my final game, right, against Ben's CSM. It's like a Abaddon Shooty Castle, which I actually did practice against, so I was really like hoping to go second,
Yep.
which I didn't. And then I believe our layout was like it was very open in the center. So
Yep.
going first, I really don't know what to do because, as I've said, I'm not prepared. But now I know. I learned my lessons next time, so we will find out. But yeah, ended up 4-1. Great run. Yeah, just didn't make it. So
And
next time.
what did you learn for the event? What was your key takeaway?
Oh, key takeaway. So it's my very first competitive, I think, against bringing Death Guard. And then, wow, they're very good, especially the Tree Breads and the Death Shroud. So sometimes this typos is always like letting me down because like he's killing Death Shroud by himself.
Yeah,
So
Typhus doesn't like you. It's the only
yeah,
time I see
typos
you
doesn't
roll
like
one
me.
ups.
Yeah, and then every time I would roll the mortal one, it's always 5 and 6, and that's an instant Death Shroud. So yeah,
Oops.
I'm very heartbroken with him. So maybe next time I'll just use him to lead the Pox Walkers,
Yep.
and then let the sorcerer handle the death shrouds. But yeah,
Did you
apart
try
from that,
running him by himself yet?
no, I haven't. Because if I did that one, then because yeah, the list is already submitted. So the death shroud, one unit of death shroud won't have a leader,
Yep.
so they won't have the -1 to wound. So
Yes,
I needed.
which from experience
It's
uh,
very
is
strong
very
against you.
very strong. Yeah. So, favorite opponent for the weekend? Favorite game?
Uh, hardest game, favorite opponent one, two. I think you, because
Me.
first
Oh,
is
me.
somehow hardest, but we already actually expect that you should be having difficulty like punching the death guard.
Yeah. Game. Before we jump in spoilers into too much about how I did, we went up against each other game 3, right?
Yeah, last game of the first
Last
round.
game of the day. Last game of the day is always fun. It
Yeah,
was my second game of Death Guard, and
who's your
so
first? The other guy who has
yeah,
two big guns,
my
right?
first round was Death Guard as well.
Yeah, correct.
So I had already had enough of not being able to use my rules, and then I think at one point we nearly flipped the coin. But
Mm,
it was a good game. It's tight. It's when you have an opponent that you've played a lot and you know how they play, makes the game a lot easier.
correct.
To be honest. So, but very close. Very close game. It was I think 14 points in it in the end.
You
So
won that one.
sorry,
You won that game, correct? Against the first death guard.
I won the first one, but I didn't win the one against you. So
Yeah.
ours was very close, and I think it was was it? No, it wasn't Purge.
No, ours was
Scorched.
yes, of course, ours was
So
Scorch.
ours was Scorched. You went second.
That's why I
You
got
walked onto the objectives and Scorched, and then
yeah,
um, and that was basically the difference in the end, was that points difference. So
yeah.
not bad, not bad. I started the weekend off really well. I was really happy to start off. Went into our
You got
match. We were both undefeated,
undefeated.
and so I went in when we played. I was 2-0, and then I lost the rest of the games for the weekend. It was a downhill slope after that.
Yeah, because the fourth game, I believe you face another very good combat army, right? Tangles,
Yeah, so I played
Lockman.
Death Guard first up, won that game.
Mm,
Newer player, great opponent. Bit of a mixed list.
yeah,
I think it was good practice for me. It was good practice for him, and great guy. And we won that one. I think that was a bit of a event difference. I think it might have been his first tournament.
I see.
Then I had Vanguard. No, Gladius.
The Ultramarines.
Gladius Ultramarines.
Yes.
Uh, so yeah, Calgar Brick with Eradicators. No, it was Vanguard. Sorry, Vanguard Ultramarines. So it was had Ventress for the deep strike, had Devastators, Centurion Devastators with las guns,
Yeah, that sense. Yeah.
with and then some scoring units. Calgar, a couple more Eradicators. So that game, I think maybe that game was Purge. Was that game
I
Purge?
think so. Yeah, that was first because
Round
yeah, my
two.
second first. Yeah.
And the again, not a lot of experience against Blood Angels. So deployed quite aggressively, and
Oh,
I charged stuff.
and
And
it's a
and then beat up a few of his units. I think the Smash Captain pretty much picked up the entirety of the Eradicator squad by himself, which was
mhm.
quite hilarious. Fun for me, not so much fun for them. So, and then we played, and
Yep.
then round started off Sunday against a friend of ours, Mr. Booth, and his Dark Angels, 3 Terminator squads. So this was my third game into you get neg 1 damage and everything's really tough. So managed to go second on Burden. So Burden of Trust, Hidden Supplies. So you really want to go first. Didn't go first. Lock plays really, really well. He's a good player. Outpositioned me. Was able to then capitalize going first on Burden. Kept me off primary. And then, then that's that. And then third game, what number? Fifth. Last game. Last game with World Eaters. And that game I was feeling pretty confident in going into, to be honest, because I've played World Eaters a few times, and the it was a pretty standard World Eaters list. Exalted, 8-bound, Angron, Berserkers. Got good positioning. It wasn't a hard mission, but I'd left a Angron base size hole exactly between a piece of terrain and 2 of my tanks. So, chat, listen here. Here's the thing that I learned on the weekend. Don't just assume if you're worried about something fitting. Don't eyeball it. Measure it. Make sure that you know exactly that it's not going to fit, and you've had that discussion. Because my opponent, great game. The Aiden is a great opponent. Played well. Didn't do anything wrong. It was that allowed basically a first turn charge into my Vindicator, which Angron then picked up. And it was kind of downhill from there, because then the snowball of trade was then massively in the World Eaters' favour. And then it was all playing. I was reacting to what the World Eaters were doing, and that put me behind. So, that a lot of learning on my part. I think a few list changes for me when I practice this list again. But ultimately, can't complain too much. Couple of play errors on my behalf and an excellent game into Mr. Gutierrez here. So sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them.
Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
So shout out to anybody if anybody's in the chat that was at the event and wants to pop a story in that about their experiences or any other experiences you've had at any other tournaments you went to last weekend.
Yeah. That's a very good week.
Yeah. So few interesting things actually just in the peripheral. The guard players didn't do fantastic.
There's how many guards? I think 2 or 3?
6.
A 6? No, I didn't face any guard. I believe Alex lost to Ed. That's why.
Yeah. Alex. Ed punched up quite a few people on the weekend. He did very well. He was 4-1 as well. Was he 4-1?
He was 4-1. Yeah, I actually preferred him to be my final opponent because at least I have a game plan against GSC. But then on the semifinals, he lost to Ben C. So if you check the standings, it's really very funny because the eventual winner, Jason, right? So I beat Jason, but Jason beat Ben, and Ben beat both me and Edward. So Jason went first.
You didn't go out. You didn't go out the back and like rock scissors paper.
No, we didn't. And then you see, going into the last game, I was hoping podium, but actually, since I lost to Ben big time, and then Ed stole the podium from me. So that's your 1, 2, 3. GSC, TSM, and another GSC. That's why GSC is super strong.
Well, as we'll see soon, as we'll get to, GSC have had a slight adjustment.
Correct.
So, yeah, it will be interesting to see whether that is a side grade in their favour or something that pushes them down the competitive tier a little bit.
Yep.
So that's very, very interesting.
True.
So been a big week of Warhammer. We've obviously got an event on Saturday as well. We'll talk about the annual charity event a little bit later. But between playing 2 rounds and then all of the Grotmas stuff that's happening, it's been very exciting. So we talked last video about the first 3, I think, was out.
Yes.
By the time we chatted last time.
Yeah.
So we got some more of those, and we got points, core strat update, and data slate on top of all the Grotmas detachments this week.
Just so much.
Yeah, so we've got what we'll do, I'll press some more buttons.
Mm-hmm.
If I press this one, look at that. So
that is the data slate.
So now, chat, we're going to just broadly discuss these changes. This is not a comprehensive note of everything that is changed. This is the juicy bits, and there is a lot of it. And forgive the presentation level because I whipped this up really quickly in between work, given that this came out last night. So it's a little bit quick and dirty, but that's fine. So general changes. And look, if you've got anything, again, anything that interests you in particular about the changes this week, jump in and chat. Let us know. General changes. Armor Contempt. So it happens for an activation of attacks. Once that activation is finished, then you don't get the Armor Contempt anymore. Now that applies globally to all of the strategies that do the same thing in all of the armies, which is interesting. What do you think?
I think it's generally good because I believe there's too much defensive buffs or whatever strategies already throughout the game. And then plus, when you're being shot, you have cover and then additional AOC. So that's effectively you're just having AP 0 going into your armor. So it's always just, if you're a good Marines or Custodians, let's say, that's always a 2 up, 3 up save. So it's effectively nothing. So at least if you remove the stratagem, although it would be affected one enemy unit, then that's fine. So at least, your opponent would not, put everything there and then nothing happens. So that's actually good.
It's more of a buff.
Especially I'm playing Death Guard, so that's very good.
Yeah, and it's more of a buff. It's a buff for armies that have lots of different units shooting all the one target.
Yes.
It's a small nerf for Space Marines because obviously that takes up a strategy slot in literally every detachment. So it'd be interesting to see how much of an impact keeping that to one activation is. Yeah.
Space Marines play us.
Yeah. Talk us through the deep strike change.
All right. So now also globally they change all that stratagem, and then all those who have data sheet ability that can deep strike 3 inches to 6 inches, and also you can't use that one together with rapid ingress. So it meant your 6-inch deep strike is only on your own movement phase. If you want to rapid ingress, then you just have to use the regular outside of 9 inches. So that's also very good. But I think it just killed the Accolons. So I'm not sure what's the use of Accolons now. So,
yeah, it's a combo nerf to a lot of those units. And as you'll see a little bit further on, a lot of the units that got this applied nerf also got a points reduction or increase depending on depending on what type of unit they were. But generally, you would see those armies that have large small base units that has 3-inch deep strike be able to snake them, or this is massive for Grey Knights, right? So you used to be able to get that big Terminator squad and kind of fit it in right into a 3-inch gap, and then be able to shoot your target. Having a 6-inch doubling that gap that's required is a pretty big deal. So
Yeah.
It frees up being able to do things like have to have infiltrators.
Yeah.
Anything that has 12-inch denies aren't as auto take.
Correct.
Um,
But don't get me wrong, 6-inch deep frag is still very good, especially for your, let's say,
Yep.
you need some secondaries that, I still can fit 6 inches here, then I'll just drop down here, do my secondary. So it's still very good. But yeah, it affected a lot of armies, like, yeah, especially GK. I think GSC also have 3-inch deep frag. So a stout.
mm,
So
mm.
for Edward, all your armies are.
Does question for you, and we'll
Mm,
cover that Grey Knights detachment a little bit later.
yep.
But does that make the Grey Knights Grotmus detachment better than Index?
I actually I'm not sure. I think the best stratagem is still in the old or the index one, but this one, because you have additional damage, is it +1 to wound also? If you control the whatever they call the, like,
Yep.
the demon whatever. So, and then I think this is now what squad is it? I forgot what unit is that. But now they are very good.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not really sure that it's, all of a sudden will replace the index.
Uh, Blackout,
Purgation Squad.
Blackout,
One?
Purgation Squad. Yeah,
Yeah.
Blackout. Yeah,
I think
we'll
now
get
they're
to
okay.
Lion. I'm a fan of the big dudes, the big Primarch models. So we'll definitely get to Lion's change.
Mm.
Combat knives. Now, really, this is a Space Marine change, but
That's
for
actually also very good for
for
all
some
those
reason I put it in
generic
there.
ones.
Scouts, Reavers, anything with combat knives, got a pip of AP, which is nice. Quality of life
Yeah,
makes them
that's
better.
nice. So maybe.
The other broad stroke, everybody that has a Predator Annihilator, so
Mm.
that's the tank,
Yep,
gets reroll damage against vehicles and monsters.
monsters. Yeah, it's also very good. Instead of reroll windows. Oh, sorry, damage roll of 1.
Yep. Um,
Now it's generic anytime you want to reroll.
are you going to take Predator Annihilators?
No. I think still
No.
this. All they are 130 points. They are both 130 points. I think the Destructor is still better because you want to actually be very effective to, those very elite infantry. So that's the use for myself, anyways.
Yeah, the destructors are quite nice.
Yeah.
Um, Crusader squads with max range weapons is actually interesting now that their combat knives are neg 1 AP. Yeah, if they weren't super expensive, I would 100% agree.
Yeah.
That just that extra little AP, especially in combination with the Armor of Contempt
Mm.
abilities nerf, it means that like you you could like go in with your neg 1 AP knives, and then when you go in with your sword brethren, they can't play. They have to save the Armor of
But,
Contempt for the other unit, right? And that's going to make your combat knives more likely to deal damage.
yeah.
Sisters. So I
So
think my notes in there probably don't necessarily do the nerf justice. I know you put in the thumbnail. What did you
in
say
our
in the
title,
thumbnail?
yeah, advice
Um,
is the fact, yeah, they just killed the bringers of flame.
yeah, the so the miracle dice. It's I won't go into too many details about the impact because I don't know it well enough.
So yeah,
But
so
go and have a
generic.
look. So basically,
I think
they don't get it. They get it a combat round instead of each player turn. They also then don't get one for each unit
killed.
killed all the
Yeah,
time. They get it for
only
each
one.
phase a unit is killed in. And Catherine was changed to make one of those dice a 6.
The 6.
So
So
yeah,
basically, half it have the generation of your miracle dice. Not even half, because every unit that is killed, so you only have 2 phase. So that's also just maximum of 2 per your own turn.
yep,
So
yep.
well, they had a very good long run. So it's time to just stay down for a while.
Yeah. And so the bringers got nerfed. The bringers of flame ability went from 12 to 6 inch.
Yep,
Castigator's got a points increase and Exorcist's got a points increase.
yep.
So in combined total, you're probably less likely to take bringers. Although the assault, like gaining the assault, is still very good.
Mm,
As you know, as we know when we talk about the new Necrons detachment.
don't do that. That's it.
Um, but you know, in chatting to some of the sisters plays in the club last night, um, Holy Martyrs is still really
Maybe.
good detachment.
Mm.
So you know, it's a good all
Like
round.
that's actually, like that's actually good that people would, now would look for other ways on how to play their faction,
Yeah,
and then look on other detachment
yeah,
how to work it out.
yeah.
So
Al said it's an actual miracle rather than all the time.
it's good to be a miracle.
Yeah, that's right. Better being a miracle than good. Um, well, I'll leave this one to you. I've put in my notes. Holy bikes,
Ah,
Batman. Talk us through the custodes bike changes.
yeah, so as soon as I actually saw the change, I was like making some list already with like 9 bikes plus maybe one shield captain on the bike. Obviously, they went up in points, so now 75 points per model, so 154 2, and I believe it's 225 for 3. And then, yeah, so captain, so both of them went up in toughness 7, and then the captain is now 8 wounds, and then the regular Virtus Praetors are now 5 wounds.
Mhm.
So very good, tough, very tough. Toughness 7, toughness 7, 5 wounds. For a 3-man, that's 15 wounds already, bro. And then obviously they also changed the weapon profile. So now their salvo launcher is I believe strength 10 at
Yeah,
83.
it's like a strength 10 las cannon. It's this is
Yeah,
very
so
similar
this
to
is
the las talon on the repulsor.
yeah,
Yep.
so they can obviously this is also twin link. So you hit on twos. So unless it's very big tank, you would be wounding on threes. And then twin link. So regular small maybe vehicle you can actually punch out. And then even their the bolters, bro, are also 3 attacks on rapid fire 3, and these are now also AP 1 at 2 damage each. So
Yep.
very good.
Going
And
up
then
to
they
2
changed,
damage is good.
yeah, they also changed the ability. So now not just in an advance wherein you throw away mortal wounds, it's also on a normal move. So yeah, basically you may find some bugs in a custodian's list. But then obviously I think Wardens is still very tough in comparison to them. But yeah, I'm very keen to run some bikes and then let's see. I already have an idea on how to run them, so we'll find out. But then good for custodies. So
Hey, you've only got X amount of profiles, right? So you only got so many data sheets. Having usable bikes, like
mm,
even to just chuck a 3-man in for what, 225?
yeah, 225 for 3. And then yeah,
225.
the shield cap though is very expensive, but 160 points, bro. It's just like 2 bikes already.
Yeah.
So now you just have to ask, would you rather run 2 instead of a captain?
Yep. The admech changes were pretty short and sweet. The Castellan robots got a points decrease. So you know, good for them.
They're now what, 85? No, sorry. 85 points here. 85 points
85 points each, right?
per model.
Um, does that make people play them more though?
I'm not really sure, bro. Maybe you see, like a squad of 2 only with a data smith, but because there are so many like better like because of especially the new detachment, right? It's very strong.
Yep.
So cannot really put up maybe Iron Striders, the Breachers, and then the Rust Stalkers. So I'm not sure because they're still very expensive. You can find other units which would be very efficient and effective.
Yep. Guard. So I think this is a net nerf in the end.
That's correct.
Lord Solar now has to order the
Just the regiment.
keyworded units only. He can still
Yep,
do
correct.
3, but he has to do the keyworded ones. So the regiment and the
These who's Katachan's one? What is their keyword?
the why do they give them weird keywords? The 2 keywords, the other infantry keyworded one, or the squadron, regiment and squadron.
They can't order tank anymore yet.
You can't order. No, that's squadron. So you can't order the super heavies, or the ogrins, or the bull runs.
Oh, and that's good. So no more ogrins.
The ogrins also got a points increase.
Yeah, so majority, even the Lord Solar himself, I know he's already 150 points, and so is the Chimeras, the what else?
Yeah, I think it too still takes Solar because being able to hand out those 3 orders is still very, very good. Tempestus has just got bombed into the ground, so they can't use their 6-inch in rapid. They got a points, and they also got a large points nerf.
Yep.
Hellhound's got a points increase. All the infantry got their points aligned across the Catachan, Cadian,
correct.
Death Corps. Those guys, all the infantry squads now cost the same. And Ogren 6 Ogrins got their points increased. So unit of 6, and Gaunt's Ghosts got their points increased.
Yep.
So, Guard probably, you're not going to necessarily, they don't have the screening shenanigans that they do anymore between the Tempestus points nerf and the 6-inch Deep Strike. So they're going to have to, Guard players are good at coming up with new
lists.
Yeah, new lists and new tech. So I'm sure they'll find a way. Their tanks are still good, so I'm sure they'll find. What's the other tank? Turok?
Yeah, that one now I think is cheaper than the Chimera. So maybe that's the way. 65 points.
So if you're going to infantry spam OC on points.
Yeah. So maybe that's the way to go for them.
My Blood Angels got no meaning. So 2 points increases and a points decrease. So the Rage Fueled Warrior went from 10 points to 25 points, so a 15-point increase.
Is this the one that you attach to your Smashy Captain?
It's the one that makes the Smash Captain. Yep.
Okay, that's why it's 15 points. Yeah.
The Sangard got 10 and 20 for 3 and 5 and 10, 5 and 15. Got a points decrease, which is good.
Yep.
Not a lot, but they're still okay. And Mephiston got a points increase, so he's up 10 points. So he went from 125 to 135. Pez is in chat giving Laurence shade.
The heck did your Digiturmis avoid the nerf? Well,
we'll talk about that when we get to Death Guard, because there was a Death Guard change. The Death Guard got a net buff, I guess, but no points changes.
Yeah, no points.
Death Company not going down by 10 points each is still wild. Yeah, they're hard work. Death Company are hard work. The only thing that they have going for them, in my opinion, after playing with them, is that they are not. They can operate by themselves. They don't need Oath, and they don't necessarily need. It's just reconnecting. Yep, we should be good.
Because now it's good again. Sorry guys. I think we had some small disconnection. Yeah, I think Blood Angels is still very good, bro. The problem with Blood Angels is if they are matched up against combat faction, which have access to those all -1 damage,
Mhm.
then obviously all your attacks are actually bouncing off. So that's the problem with Blood Angels.
Yep. The Outrider buff, which is in the Space Marine section, there is an interesting combo where you take a Chaplain on bike in an
Mm-hmm.
Outrider unit, you give it Rage-Filled Warrior, and it becomes Sustain 3, Crozius 3 damage,
Mm.
which is interesting.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of people I heard like yeah they are now a fan of bikes. So maybe now it's a bike.
yeah, I don't know whether they're going to. I don't think they're going to necessarily increase the Blood Angels win rate by any
Mm.
means, but it's nice. It's a
But they
nice thing to kind of think about running Outriders. Gives them another,
yeah, they're
you
good
know,
with other detachment, maybe especially with the dangles. So
yeah. So and obviously Blood Angels benefit a little bit from the other Space Marine stuff, but not a lot.
correct.
Chaos Knights. So Stalkers, Executioners, Huntsmen went down in points, and the
Yep.
Lord of Dread enhancement went down in points.
Yep.
They also
I
got.
believe
Sorry.
that's right, bro. So I believe they also changed the detachment, or is it the army rule now? Detachment rule, wherein I think the forcing of the leadership check is from the start of the battle round already. So it's not like they need to wait for the second and third round. That's what I actually remember.
Yeah, and you can pick your dread bonus from the start. From the
Mm,
start of the
correct.
game, you don't have to wait until round 3. So
Mm.
a a objective buff. I don't know whether you take Stalkers and Executioners.
But this is actually would really push your number of war dogs to be actually 14 already. Very strong 14 war dogs. So
Yep.
let's see.
Are you taking? Does this make you want to take Chaos Knights?
No, no more knights for me, bro. I think I graduated from
You
knights.
graduated from Knights.
Yeah, no more knights.
The Lamarty's unit is still auto take though. Um, I don't think it's auto take. I think it is the what I've been wrestling with is the makeup between the Sanguinary brick, the Death Company brick, the Smash Captain brick, and the there's also like a Chaplain with Blade Guard type brick. And I think if you have a combination of those 4, then that output is fine. That
Mm.
doesn't necessarily need to auto include the Lamarty's Death Company, but it's probably at the moment the first one that I put in. I don't think it's auto take, but it's definitely uh, it's it's definitely one of the better ones. But it is still very good. Like, don't get me wrong, it is still very good. Dark Angels, Dangles,
Dangles.
the most heretical of the loyalists. Lion got a buff. He got damage 2 sweep.
Yeah,
He
that's
also got
good.
a points increase. So
Good.
whether that's a net effect of people taking him, it's 16 attack, strength
Uh,
big,
for
strength high, neg 2 for 3. I think 3 for 2,
yeah.
something like that. It's pretty good. I like the line. I think he does work well. I don't think he's an auto take. But you know,
Neg 3, bro. Neg 3.
neg
The
3,
first.
neg 3 for 2 sweep. Yeah, 16 attacks. He slaps. So
Mhm.
you know, if you want to take that, I've seen it in lists where they don't take as many Terminators, and
Yeah.
they take the line as a beat stick point. I think that's fairly reasonable. I don't know whether it increases the win rate of Dark Angels or not, but I don't hate it.
Me too.
Dark Elder. So,
So
I
I don't know what they did
yeah,
to card.
I don't know. We've got friend of the club and the channel, Mr. Kyle. I'm going to give you a shout out, buddy. What did you do? Like, did you piss somebody off? Did you send GW like a nasty email or something? And like who I want to know who who is in GW's ear telling them that this is a thing that needed to happen. Grotesque 6-mans went up 10 points. 5-man Scourge went up 10 points. The Bomber went up 20, but the Rax came down 5.
Scar is paying for his sins.
Scary is paying for his sins.
Maybe.
Yeah, but did you see anybody else winning with them?
That's the problem, right?
I mean, I'm sure Scary will still win with these changes.
Yeah, because it's Scar.
Because it's Scary and he's a good player and he knows Dark Eldar, Drakari inside and out, backwards and forwards.
Even the Void Raven is not being played. What was 20 points?
Sorry?
Even the Void Raven Bomber, the flyer,
Up 20.
it also increased 20 points. So
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Somebody in GW went to a GT or an RTT or a Teams event and got their poo pushed in by some Dark Eldar list, and they're like, we shall have none of that. We want to see them crushed into the ground. It doesn't make sense to me. I think this is probably the biggest oopsie in the whole data
changes for this.
Right, and we'll get to some. There's 2 really big ones coming up. We've gone through one big one, which is the Sisters. There's 2 other big ones, and I think out of everything that's in here, the Dark Eldar nerf is probably the worst one, and it's just points.
Yeah, makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. All right, Death Guard.
They received anything in points.
So somebody was talking about Death Guard before. How did Laurence? All right, Pez asked you, how did Death Guard get away without a nerf?
They are not actually winning tournaments, bro. And then if you check the win rates, it's not over 55. And then, come on, boys, Death Row are so slow. They move 4. So please, just give us a break and run more Death Shot. They should be moving 5 or 6, please.
Laurence doesn't want to paint and learn a new army. He's done like that 3 times this season, and he's tired. Look at him. He's a tired Laurence, and he needs to stay on one army to learn it for.
I wanted to bring Death Shroud that time, but see, I only brought 12. So I think 18 is not even the most efficient or optimum list for Death Guard. So.
That's fair. I'm happy for Laurence. Yes. Yeah. We got to give Laurence, something to look forward to every now and again. I mean, he got his bikes. He got his Custodes bikes, so maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll jump again.
the only change we got for Death Company was Mortarion,
which should have happened like long time before. Long time.
Or as Laurence has nicknamed him, Mortitatarian.
Mortitatarian.
He got Death Strike. He got Deep Strike, which I think is quite good.
I think that's good because it could have helped me in some of my matches, especially the last game last weekend. Because deep striking Mortitatarian is very good.
Yeah, so you can put him behind your Death Shroud where you need him and get the ignore modifiers, right?
Correct.
You could rapid him.
You could rapid
him. Morty-Tiberium. Somebody, we've got a count. We've got a what's it called? What's the game called?
Different AKA aliases of Morty-Tiberium.
We got a Command and Conquer fan in chat. Morty-Tiberium. GSC.
Yeah, so that's good for Death Guard. Nothing really changed, so just let's see.
I mean, and you got Annihilate. So Predator Annihilate's got a buff, and Morty got a buff.
Yep.
And you got a buff because you got an inherent buff. DGs are better
Or,
without 3-inch deep strike
And then
because you have
some
trouble
more,
screening because you're elite army, right?
and then the AOC some more.
Morty is rapiding because is very dangerous and very good, especially for just pushing enemy home objectives. Yes, 100%. GSC.
Yep.
So, do you want to tackle?
All right. So it's a bit long, but I think they have now, instead of like a gamble wherein you need to roll a dice, right? So it's just like I'll just go directly to
Do you
the
want
changes.
me to buy you some more time so you can
No, no, I
bring the
already have.
data slate up?
So
Dun,
no,
dun,
no, no.
dun, 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 dun,
So
dun, dun.
they changed now into a resurgence point. So obviously, if you have 2,000 points, you are given 10 resurgence points,
Mhm.
and then depends on what unit you wanted to run. They all have their equivalent resurgence points. So it just means, bro, that at least you are guaranteed to bring back a unit of yours, which is good, right?
Yep.
So for us playing against GSC, it just meant that you're still playing against a 2,000 point plus whatever points, maybe 200, 2,200 to maybe 2,400 of GSC. And obviously for the GSC player, they just need to really pick which unit do I actually wanted to revive, and then that's at least guaranteed. So
Yep.
that's a rule change for them. So and then they also received some couple of points nerfs. So they just have to actually rework on what units to be like spammed or what.
Mhm. There's a few nuances too with the cult ambush rework. Um, one of I think one of the most appealing things that came to my mind when I was reading it was I think you can bring 5-man acolyte units back for 2 points. So you effectively, without the enhancement, which gives you an extra 2 resurgence points, you
Mm.
can bring back 5 units and acolytes
Yeah,
guaranteed, and then you
correct.
can use them strategically. You might not want to res them straight away, right? So I think it brings a lot of um, authority back to the GSC player. It's
Yeah,
less random, um, but it's not as swingy, right? So there's some games you
correct.
would play against GSC where that 10-man pure strain unit would like come back 4 times.
Yeah,
That's not going to happen anymore. But at
yeah,
least you're not going to get the I don't get any back, which I think was if you talk to Ed, one of the challenges with getting to higher than
true.
4-1 is it's swingy, right?
Yeah. It's very swingy. Like
Um,
one game, 1,000 points would one come back. The following game, nothing comes back. So it's
yeah,
a bit.
you now cannot rapid the cult ambush,
Mm,
which you could before, so that's a nerf.
yep. Yep.
The Calomorph ability got extended, so that the range of it got changed.
Okay.
There's a bunch of other little minor changes to enhancements and stuff that
Yep.
go along with the cold ambush rework. But Aberrants and the character both went up points.
Yeah. So I would assume that this Biosanctus detachment is also gone already. So maybe they would be shifting to, you know,
Back
other detachment.
back to the Jackals, maybe.
I think so.
Yep. Anything else you want to say about GSC?
Well, good luck to them. That's all I can say.
Good luck to them. All those people that went out and smashed a
Yeah.
GSC army and painted it up just for their 5 minutes of fame.
Mm,
Imperial Knights.
mm.
So
I-
I've got babies 10 points. What that means is Warglaves and Helverins
and the
gone down
Halberds.
10 points.
Correct.
So that's good. They're 100, I think,
130 now, I think, for Halberds.
130
Right?
for Helverins.
Yeah.
As a Blood Angels player that needs shooting, like when you compare it to the other armor that you can take,
Mm,
130 points for a Helverin is like actually, when I'm paying 170 for a Vindicator,
130 points is also a Predator.
130 points is a Predator, and is a Helverin better than a Predator?
Well, he has anti-fly 2-up.
Yeah. So, what's the profile in the Helverin gun?
That's I believe 8 shots, strength 9, but AP 1, but flat 3 damage.
The flat 3 is nice.
Yeah, that's very, very, very nice. I had some, some funny scrimmage. I think, with the new detachment of this Custodes with Alex's Chaos Knight. So obviously it's the Executioner, right? Equivalent of this Hellbrain. So I believe he gave me 4 wounds, and I roll with cover some more, bro. Okay, to a to some Venetary, I rolled 4 ones, and then dead.
Um, and especially now the Armor of Contempt.
He's gone.
The Armor of Contempt changes
not,
benefits the Helverins, right? Because
yeah,
you can then shoot one, that one goes to AP 0, but then the other two Helverins shoot that unit and they get the AP 1 through, right?
And then 3 damage is fair.
Yep. What do you think of the new detachment while we're here?
For the Knights?
Yeah.
I think it's just fluffy, but it's not going to a competitive one. Even the CK I saw it's really funny, bro. Like they are sacrificing all these cultists. So every time it's always guaranteed that some cultists will die. So it's just funny. So that's why it's very fluffy. For AdMech 1, I know it also gives you reroll. Is it reroll or sustain when you are within 6 of an AdMech? But bro, it's like 500 points that you can take. Obviously, you won't take 500 points, but would you rather just take some Imperial agents or maybe some assassins?
I mean, they already had Imperial agents, right? And Chaos already had demons.
So that's why if you are adding some more admin, then you're actually just diluting your,
it's narrative, but
yeah, it's narrative and it's fluffy, but that's why I said I don't think it's some competitive. See?
Necronians. So
the best one.
Annihilation Legion got a minor buff. The strat now does neg 1 damage. You can use it on the shooting destroyer cult. Sorry, neg 1 AP. It's an extra AP. So that's good. It's a buff. I don't think you'll see people playing Annihilation Legion, especially with the new Star Shatter.
What's the name of that?
Star Shatter Shattering. The Shatteringness. Bringers of Flame and Necrons. I think with that detachment basically being, now that the next point I've got on my notes is a Hypercrypt nerf. Now that Hypercrypt has kind of been nerfed, the 3-inch becomes a 6-inch. You can only take 2 units and 2,000 points. You can only pick up 2 units, 3 if you pay for the enhancement. I think that people are going to go to the Star Shatter.
Yeah, I think it's not even a question.
Yep. The 3 name Catan, the 2 name Nightbringer, Void Dragon, and Transcendent went up 10 points. Wraith went down 10 in 3s and 6s. Cool. All right, I love that.
I really don't know what.
Ophidians went down. Warriors went down. Plasmancer went down, and Immortal 5-mans went down. So weird, targeted, small changes. It's kind of weird. There's obviously a plan somewhere, but Wraith going down is great.
I think there's some favoritism here. I'm sorry.
I mean, when you look at like AdMech, and you're like, I'll have my Wraiths back now.
Yeah, that's why I think Wraiths now would also be alive. So I'm not sure how many Wraiths you will put in the Star Shatter arsenal.
I think that if you want a scoring or a anvil unit, they work fine.
Yeah. So maybe a unit of 1.
maybe a unit
One
with a one unit with a because the thing in Star Shatter is that you're encouraged to take the Catacomb Command Barge and put the enhancement on it for the rerolls.
Yeah.
What happens when you have a Catacomb Command Barge is you also give an extra OC. So putting things within 3 inches of the command barge and stringing them means that warriors go to 3 and Wraith go to 3. So that's really good. Means that you can put 2 Wraith on an objective and take it away from from jump pack intercessors.
Yeah.
Like that's really strong because you're taking the command barge anyway, and you're kind of Death Starring the way that you want it. All the vehicles kind of are going to be close together to get inside of the auras. So yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, so orcs.
Orcs. Finally, also.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to one of the orc players last night. The War in the command phase at the start of your command phase is great. Some authority back into the orc player.
The player.
I mean, it was pretty obvious what was happening before. The orc player would call the War at the start of the battle round, and then you would walk away from them.
Yes, correct.
So this is good. The big hunt detachment, so the Beast Naggers detachment got some buffs.
Mm-hmm.
They have a mechanic where you pick a unit, it becomes the prey target, and they get buffs. That's slightly changed. But war bosses go up 10 points.
Yeah, which is fine. War bosses and war bosses mega armor is fine.
Yep. So I think it's still a net buff.
Yeah.
But
and then that's I think I also saw 2 new units which is already reflected to the tank busters and one I forgot, which is very cool. So I'm very excited for orcs.
Yep. Space Marines.
So this one also very, very, very
wow.
cool.
All right. So there's a lot of information here that I've just shorthanded. So the biggest one is that Oath of Moment now conveys a +1 to wound if you do not take a non-compliance chapter unit with a faction keyword. So, for example, for Blood Angels, anything in the Blood Angels Codex, if you take any of it, you can't get this ability. But the funny thing is, I can still be Liberator Assault Group.
Correct. You still can play your own detachment, but if you want to have the +1 to wound, then don't include any unit which is tied to your chapter.
Yep. So that goes for your Black Templars, your Dark Angels, your Death,
Space
Wolves, any of those guys.
Death Watch. Yep.
Gladius Fire Discipline was nerfed. You no longer have crit 5s.
Yes,
it's reroll charges. So that is a nerf. But they've started buffing some of the other units. So the Gravis, the bolt rifles, the Gravis bolt rifles got +1 damage.
Yes.
The heavies went up in points.
Yep.
The Infernus Marines got 1 AP on the Flamers. And they got an extra leadership neg1 for their scary aura. When they shoot a unit, you can pick it. It has to take a battle shock test at neg1 now. But they got a points increase. Outriders on the charge got an extra strength, an extra attack, and extra damage. We kind of touched on that before.
Yep.
Reavers got a extra buff to neg1 leadership skill.
Yes.
For their terror ability. They also got an extra ability that says you also get neg1 OC.
Negative OC, yep. -1, yep.
Yep. But they went up 5 points. I think that unit for That unit for 80 points is still very good. It also got the +1 AP on their combat knives.
Yep.
So that unit got an all-round buff. I think you'll see more people taking Reavers as a skirmishing scoring unit.
Mm-hmm.
Calgar got 15 points.
Hop.
Girly Man. Sir
Girly.
Rabute Gilliman.
Mm.
Gilliman got a buff. As Blackout said, I can't wait to see Gilliman and 20 Sternguard now. Yeah, I think Sternguard got a buff. So Gilliman got a buff. Rabute got basically you can take 2 of his Primarch auras at the same time.
Yeah.
And he went up 60 points.
So how much is Reboot? I'm gonna check.
Yeah.
Do you have his points?
Sorry?
Do you know how much is he now?
3
How much is Reboot?
something. 350 something. 340 something. 345.
And how much is Mr. Lion?
325, something like that.
Then both of them should be actually 350 then.
Sternguard got a buff. They got reroll wounds against the oath target.
Yep.
So if you are playing Codex compliant, including Ultramarines, you take Sternguard, you get +1 to wound and reroll wounds on your devastating weapons.
Good luck, bro.
Yeah, 345 now for Gilman. Yep.
345 for Mr. Girly Man. And then the Lion is 315. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we will see a lot of blue, bro.
Yep. I'm not going to go through each of them individually, but go and check out the balanced data slate. Each of the Codex compliant chapter master special characters
They have
got a special ability where it buffs a certain thematic unit to give it extra OC. I think one is heavy intercessors, one is terminators, one is Infernus Marines, and one is jump pack intercessors. So that's kind of cool, kind of thematic. Gives you a little bit of a buff if you want to take them. Scouts went up points because they got AP on their weapons.
Yep.
And Ventress went up 20 points. So I think Ventress was 75. I think he's now 95. You still take Ventress. You just be like, cool, bro. All right. Sick.
Yep.
I think the +1 to wound is really good on Redemptors. The plasma macro feels a lot nicer wounding big tanks on 4s. Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought about the Redemptors. Obviously, because Sternguard are actually in the document, people are thinking about those. But yeah, Redemptors is cool. It almost feels like a crime that Reavers are usable. Yeah, Brian.
They're still very expensive at 210, yeah. 210, yeah.
Redemptors. Yeah, Redemptors is still too expensive. Yep. Yeah, I think having at least one unit of Reavers is good in most Space Marine units. I mean, they deep strike, they scout.
I have some funny lists for Space Marines. I'll tell you later.
Some funny lists for Space Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not Blood Angels.
Yeah, but well, that's not for you then.
It's for somebody else.
It's for those who would be taking Rabute, the Girly Man.
Magnus, Rabute, Ventress plus stuff, either Iron Storm, Gladius, or Vanguard, I think are going to be all highly played because all those models are very highly available. But you're going to get some very good output. They're going to start putting some wins on the board. The shooting output is really good.
Yep.
Poor Tau. What did Tau do?
Tau did get nothing except for these Tiger Sharks.
Yeah, cry out for the Tiger Shark going up 50 points.
Yeah, they should have just put him into the legends, bro.
Just legend him. Just let him die.
Yeah.
He's suffered enough. Just let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. Red,
well,
yeah.
retcon got nerfed to with the 3-inch. Oh, ret cadre. Yeah, so
Yeah.
actually it's
Yeah.
very funny because there's no reference to it anywhere. But Pez is right. Obviously, one of the bonuses of having retaliation cadre for Tau is you can take
It's
your
the three.
crisis units and make them 3-inch deep strike.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, cry one out. Although, given that all those units are shooting units, there's a unit we'll talk about in the NIDS that it's the opposite for, but they still have good guns. You should still be able to get 6-inch positions. That still tends to be, behind the deployment zone in the home area. You can't like double dip and land on objectives and stuff like that, but getting a 6-inch, melter range for, for crisis units in red cadre is still pretty good.
Yep. Correct.
What do you think the best attachment for Tau is at the moment?
I still think Koyan, bro, because sustain.
You're a patient
Sustain
man
someone.
still.
Yep.
Yep. You're at
I think,
Lawrence's.
but I'm not sure if Tao would be, like good because of all these changes in Space Marines, Necrons. So I think they won't be very well represented also in, very competitive tournaments.
You don't think they're winning the shooting war?
No, they can't outshoot Necrons now, for sure.
You reckon?
I reckon.
Um, Tyranids. Tyranids are the last on the list. Now, they're the last on the list. I know that, and I'm going to call this out because Jared is in chat. Yes, bikes got a points decrease, but if you take 6 bikes, I still don't think you're going to win. I'm sorry, bro. But it wasn't interesting enough to put on the list. Tyranids.
Yes.
The assimilation heal went to D3 plus 3, which is good.
Okay.
I think it was D3. The non assimilator gets the harvester keyword for the harvester detachment, which is good.
Okay.
That means that you can use those buffs on the Nord assimilator. The Norns also went down in points. The Tyranid Guard went down in points. And in the assimilation swarm, you can heal them.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're really tanky. They're cheaper, and you can heal them, pretty well. The Trigon, whose only benefit was the 3-inch, because he doesn't really have a gun, now has to come in 6 inches away and walk closer.
Yeah.
So
that's for everybody.
Yep. So I think NIDS are going to be in a good place. They were still in a pretty good place anyway, but this gives them another makes the Norn Monster Mash slightly more viable, makes assimilation a little bit more viable, so that's great.
Yep. That's it.
For
the dust bucket. What do you think? Generally, Mr. Carl?
I think that while I am sad that Necrons are getting some buffs, that's one of my armies. But
I think the strongest is Necrons.
Nothing for Eldar, which makes sense because of the Codex.
They're receiving new book.
Blood Angels effectively got a nerf because Space Marines got buffs and the points got changed.
Mm-hmm.
So Death Company didn't get a decrease and Sangard got a little one. I think it doesn't really change their position at all. You're going to see more Ultramarines, Space Marine lists.
Yes.
But other than that, the biggest loser is the Dark Angels, right?
The Dagos.
But
I think they're...
Sorry, the biggest loser is the Dark Eldar. The
Dark Eldar. The
points,
Sisters?
The points... I think the Sisters are still fine.
Okay.
I think you'll still see people take Hello Martyred or the crazy person. What's the crazy person one called?
Repentia?
Yeah, the
The Arcos,
repentant host.
the penitent host.
Sorry, penitent host. I think you'll see. Penitent host also got a buff. I didn't write it down here, but
Mm,
penitent host was buffed to say that you don't have to pick pick one off their list. They've got the 3 that you can pick from. You used to
okay,
have to always pick one. Now you
okay,
don't have to pick one, so you can skip turn 1.
okay. Then that's good for them. At
Yeah.
least some
Um,
night.
what do you think?
Well, generally, I think it's very good. Although obviously, it's like now favoring Necrons and these Ultramarines. But what they actually did, like especially like like everything with 3 inches, everything with armor content. Like I think this is the theme that we are seeing now. So it's just like to be applied for everybody who has that kind of ability. So which is very good.
Yep.
And then yeah, especially with the new detachment that are incoming. So uh, it's really very exciting for us
Mm.
for players to
So,
actually.
which Grotmus is out tonight?
So tonight would be CSM. So we will see. But obviously, based from our little birds, right? So far, what we are receiving is that the best or the strongest faction out of all this detachment is the Necrons, which is
Yep.
already out, and then your Space Marines, the Ultramarines one, which is although not the detachment, but because of the changes in the DAO slate, it makes them very very strong. So also, I'm assuming,
Jared's pulling an all-nighter so he can stay up for his CSM detachment.
yeah, we are all waiting for this for all these Grotmas
Yeah,
special.
I tend to agree that the Necrons are definitely by far the strongest. I don't mind the Grey Knights. I don't mind the
Yep,
Custodians.
yep.
I think the Dark Angels is okay. It's kind of
Mm,
weird. It's a little bit fruity, but it's not. I don't think you necessarily take it over Gladius, but
yep,
cool. The Imp Knights and Chaos Knights are unnecessary. The Death Guard is good,
yep.
like the Death Guard. The Tyranids are okay. The Imperial Agents one is kind of useless.
Admech is good.
The Admech is. That's what we don't have on the list here. I forgot to
Ah,
put Admech. That's the one we were missing. Chat, we
so
were so prepared. We are so professional that we would do this thing on the fly just in time. We were trying to work out who we were missing, and we were missing
who's number one,
Admech.
2, 3, 4, 5? We missed Admech.
We
Oh,
missed
good.
Admech.
Admech's good.
Thousand Suns is no good,
So this
and
man.
Space Marines is. I think there is a combo. I haven't had a chance to dive into it too much, but I believe there's a Stern Guard Librarian combo
Mm,
that, like,
that
apparently
gives
just
devastating wound, right? Is it the
vomits devastating
combo?
wounds.
Yeah, I think I saw it, but yeah,
Played
I
against
played.
the new Admech last night. It's really cool. Seems strong. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I like it with the infiltrators, with the melee
I,
units. I'm not.
I'm also very keen to trying some Admech lists. So Luke and Ben, I need to borrow some of my Admech. Okay.
You need to retrieve your borrowed
Yeah.
Admech.
No, because yeah, I promise, right? I would tell you some nice lists for the Ultramarines.
Okay, hit
So
me.
I think you should try triple whirlwind with triple oaths because you can oaths one, and then this stupid who's this? The girly man can give you 2 oaths. So with +1 to wound AP 2 damage, that's a lot of dead whatever you want to target. So maybe you should try that triple whirlwind. Just my
Triple whirlwind.
small piece of small small piece of advice. I don't know, but yeah, I think it whirlwinds will come back, bro.
Triple
Triple whirlwind, yes.
at
And then
unrelated but
obviously,
very important. What's the
mm,
coffee situation like at the gaming arena? Um, so the coffee on site is fine. Um,
yeah,
there is a cafe very close that we've been frequenting that is in walking
It's just
distance.
3 minute walk. So
Yep,
near.
up the street.
I can't even
So
walk there, right?
that is also fine, and it'll be open Saturday morning if you're talking about, like, if you're referring to going down. I think, Al, you're playing Blood Bowl, aren't you? I believe.
I think.
Yeah. So there is coffee available in vicinity, so you should be fine. The bar, the beers, and the other things on tap at the game arena is quite good. Go down and
Yep.
grab yourself a drink.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Jared, you've been there. You give your ringing endorsement then. Why don't you describe the coffee? The
Well,
quote it. Yeah, somebody clip that and send it to Diffie and Dave, right?
just ask the Theo to buy coffee for you, Mr. Al.
Yeah. Lawrence, get me coffee.
Oh yeah, I'm your Theo this
Yeah,
weekend, Mr.
yeah.
Al.
Lawrence is playing TO. You haven't had to TO for a while.
Yeah, I'm playing Theo. Yeah.
That's
It's
because
the annual, so
this guy wants to play.
it's fine. You need to play so we can have all fun. We can all have fun.
We are all about having fun. Speaking
If
of
there's
having
some
fun,
if there's some drops, and I'll be the Gumby. I'll bring some what do you call this one? Dreadnought list for custodies. Okay, so easy.
yeah. Speaking of having fun,
Mm,
Mr. Lawrence. Speaking of
yes.
having fun, the thing that we are talking about
Wow.
is the Risky Rollers annual on Saturday, down at the gaming arena in North Coburg, Melbourne, Victoria.
Yeah.
All a lot of the proceeds going to charity.
To
We
Smith family.
partnership with the Smith family, and we've been doing this for a couple of years now. The gaming arena has been kind enough to host us this year, which is great. There is a bunch of people going.
Yes.
So if you are interested in having fun and, the RTT, there is tickets still available for the event. If you go to riskyrollers.com.au, you can also find some information on the Risky Rollers event page. You can come here and you can still buy tickets for Warhammer 40,000, Legion Imperialis, Infinity, Blood Bowl, and Kill Team.
Yep.
So if you're interested in those events, you can still buy those tickets. I believe most list submissions and cutoffs are Friday night. So if you get in Friday night, if you get in by Friday night, I believe you can still get in.
Yeah.
If you don't want to play and you just want to come down, there will be some raffle tickets.
There would be
and there's, I believe there's some
painting competitions.
Yeah, there's some stuff that the venue is chipping in to help as well. So get in on amongst that. Come down and say hi. It's going to be packed. And if you want a bit of a fun time before you get into the Chrissy break, come down and support a charity. And come down and hang out with us on Saturday.
Yeah. And also, it's free lunch. It's catered lunch.
If you buy a ticket. So
if
buy a ticket, come and spend some money. Contribute to the Smith family. They do a lot of good work. And and it's CSM out Creations of Bile. Or do you want to do this live?
Oh, okay, go for it, bro.
Are we going to do this live? All right, hang on, give me a sec. So
usually, it's like 11 p.m.
Let me just.
Okay, go to your Warhammer.
Can you talk for a sec while I?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes. So, normally it's 11 p.m. So maybe they are actually just trying to push and push. So what is next after CSM, guys?
You need to answer your own question because I'm.
I need to answer my own question. I need to now also check the website, which you are doing.
Can
So
yeah? Can you keep
can
you keep.
anybody tell me what is next? If nobody, then I have to check it myself, or I will just keep talking and talking
You
and
keep
talking.
talking.
And also, bro, I'm telling, do you have DDAs?
Do I have? Yes.
So I'm running three. Okay.
You're
So
running 3.
yeah,
You don't have 3 DDAs.
I already have one from Alex. Then maybe I'll
But
ask.
you can't borrow my DDAs. Do you know why?
Why? Because you're playing
Because
DDAs.
I'm using my DDAs.
So maybe I'm playing Necrons or Uprising.
Oh, get in line, brother. So, hang on. Let me just
All right.
move. Let me just go back to that, just for
Mm,
Look at that. Thank you to Jared for pointing this out. We can do something a little bit fun. We're going a little bit over time. I was just about to wrap us up, but
yeah. And then this came in.
seems like we got a drop. So this is the CSM Grotness attachment. We're doing this basically in real time.
Yeah.
Creations of bile. So there's pictures of dice. Look.
What is this? Death Guard again.
At the start of the battle, select which augments are active for infantry models, excluding
Mm-hmm.
damned.
Okay.
From your army until the end of the battle, To do so, either select one from the list below or randomly determined by rolling 2d6. If bile is your warlord, when randomly determining your augmentations, you can re-roll one or both dice. Duplicate augments have no effect.
Okay.
So you
So
get
what?
2.
You select two? Okay. You select two or you roll two.
But if you roll 2, you can re-roll.
Okay.
But
If you have duplicated one.
but why would you just not
Then
pick?
just choose, yeah? Yeah, just choose. Either
Oh,
so you select one or roll for it.
if you roll, you
And
get 2.
two. Yeah, you yeah,
And then
correct.
if you have bile, you can re-roll the dice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
it's
what are we?
options, so you should just roll. Yeah, so what are these?
+1 attacks to melee weapons,
Okay,
+2 move,
okay.
+1
Weapon
AP
skill.
for sorry. Yeah, +1 weapon skill, +1 toughness,
Mm-hmm. Plus one
+1
strength.
strength for melee,
Yep.
+1 BS.
Alright. So focus on melee except that one which is plus one BS
So
and then plus
you take +2 move and +1
two
attack,
movement. Yep.
and
Or
you roll until you get those 2.
yep. Well, interesting. So let's see the enhancement.
We've got surgical precision, Heraturus, Heretic
Heretic.
Astartes,
Alright.
Heretic Astartes model only, excluding
Oh,
damned. Bearer has
precision.
precision, so you can build a Mo.
Yeah.
Living Carapace, Chaos Lord model only, +1 wound and 5 up, feel no pain.
Bearer. Yep.
That seems pretty good if you want to build a
That's
Smash
only case.
Captain, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Jared,
Helm of
let us know if there's any combos that come to mind with these. Chaos Infantry, excluding damned. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield from reserve cannot be set up within 12.
No, so
Oh,
you
okay.
see.
Helm of the All-Seeing. So
But 20
basically stops them from
9-inch deep strike.
yep. So or 6-inch now.
Yep.
Prime test subject.
35 points is so expensive.
Add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee weapons. Each time
Equipped
the
by the
bearer makes a melee, it's reroll hits and +1 damage. Hang on.
very good. Who can be the captain
Wow. So you can have one lord that's
with the
+1
5 plus
wound,
1 of
5 up,
pain,
feel no pain, and one
and one
lord
is
that's
like
+1
very cute.
damage and reroll hits.
Yeah. And then one also which is precision. Oh my gosh.
Stratagems. Monstrous Visage.
Yep.
Neg 1 to hit.
The unit -1 to hit, yeah.
Yep. The unit -1 to hit.
Shooting or
You can give yourself extra augments. So you suffer
oh,
D3
okay.
mortal wounds, and then you get to pick an augment to have until your next command phase. It's kind of cool. It's 2 CP though. I
So
don't know if I'm into that for 2 CP.
well, if you need, maybe yes. Like maybe mid game or later of the game when you actually need one, right?
The
But yeah, to see.
Masters are watching. Till the end
Then
of the phase, each time a model unit is destroyed, it's fight on death on a 4+.
okay. 1 CP. Yeah.
Hang on. Oh, res D3 models.
Diabolic regeneration.
That's kind of
All right.
cool.
Battle
Yeah,
line,
your command phase.
but and also battle line only.
If your unit is battle line,
If your unit is battle line, then
D3
Ray
models. So it's one destroyed model. If it's battle line, it's D3.
D3. Okay, cool.
Specimens for the spider. 2
Another
CP.
2 CP.
Is that the second 2 CP? Yeah, second 2
Yes, it's the
CP.
second one. Yep.
Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack that targets a character unit, you can reroll the wounds. After units fought, if one or more character models were destroyed, select one enemy unit within 6 of your unit. That unit must take a battle shock. If the enemy unit was destroyed,
If the
each
enemy
enemy
war
unit within 6 must take a battle shock
one 2 CP for battle shock.
and reroll wounds.
Okay.
So it's reroll wounds against a character unit. If the character dies, it's battle shock tests.
Not even forced battle shock, but you have to take.
Takes a battle shock test. Yep. So you pick one. If it's your warlord, it's everything in 6. Auto stimulants. Charge phase. Advanced charge.
Oh, nice. Advanced charge.
At the starty charge phase, so the good version.
Oh, yeah, the good version.
Yep.
Auto stimulants. Good for
RIP
what?
2x2 CP strats. This is pretty good. So this is what, like Possessed and Chosen in
And
Chaos
what
Lords
about
and
Legionnaires as well?
Legionnaires.
Hmm.
So it's like this like infantry version. Seems kind of good.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think because now I like melee. So as long as because I'm not very familiar with all the system combo yet. So but yeah, all melee buffs is very good.
You want a bonus? I'm going to read out the fluffy stuff. Ready?
Okay, read it out.
Comprising abhorrent warbands of augmented Chaos Space Marines, the varied creations of Bile display the depths of the primogenitor's dark genius, whether devoted to Bile search for prize specimens and forbidden knowledge, or bartered to ambitious warlords in return for great riches. These altered warriors expand a web of the spider's sinister influence. Each new experiment the Clone Fathers undertakes is intended to improve upon the works of the Corpse Emperor and render the transhuman form of a Space Marine more lethal. In battle, his creations utilize their enhanced strength, speed, aggression, and endurance to weather fields of killing fire, plunge into the mists of the enemy, and tear their victims apart, even as the genetic mutations induced by the Clone Father begin to overwhelm their altered forms.
Very good, very good, very good.
There you go.
Well, I think it's nice.
There you
But
go.
then, is it better than Necrons or the Ultramarins? Maybe not. I
Well,
think
maybe not.
those those two now are your benchmark, I would say. So
Um,
we will find.
yeah, I think Necron still kills it.
Yep.
You point the DDAs and the what are the walking dudes called?
The 30 plus whatever shots with sustain.
No,
Is it
the
the which
crap.
one?
I've just forgotten. Hang on. The my tip for you is that canoptic doomstalkers are vehicles.
Okay.
You know, all of the weapons are blast. So
Mhm.
you're like, cool. Here's a
Yeah.
bajillion neg 4 or 3 shots. Go.
Yeah. And
Um,
then, so is it better than their previous the previous attachment is the what they call so the whatever role that they have to make, right? Is that the detachment role or is that the army role for CSN?
sorry, which one? Try again.
The blood pack, the
No,
the
that's
pack.
that's dark packs are the army rule.
Dark pack is the army role. So
Yeah.
what's the detachment role for CSN?
Which one? There's 8.
They have they already have a book, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sorry.
So you've got like the Renegade Raiders,
The
which is the
renegade,
assault
yes.
and shoot, and you've got the pack bound, which is the the
Okay, so renegade is the advance and shoot, yeah.
yeah.
So is it better than this one? Maybe not, right?
Well, this is melee, right?
This is melee. So
Well,
yeah,
maybe chat. You can answer that
you
for
can
us.
tell us because
Well, Lawrence, we've extended this out to an hour and a half, so we should
yeah,
probably start wrapping this up.
correct.
If you don't have tickets for the annual and you want to come and Jared says Renegades is probably better. Time will tell. Go get a ticket. Come down and visit us. Even if you don't want to just come visit, there'll be some funky stuff happening. Come down and say hi. Thank you again, everybody that's watched us tonight.
Yep.
And if you like what we do, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Make sure the preferences for the notification is all, so that when you see us do this at last minute, because we are professionals, you will get notified. Thank you again to our channel sponsors, Baron of Dice, Proxywars, Miniature Scenery, Hegemon, Dice Arcade, and General Games.
Yeah.
And thank you to you, Mr. Lawrence,
Thank
Mr.
you, Carl.
Co-host man, for chatting for me for an hour and a half through this data slate busy week.
Thank you for everybody who joined us.
Thank you for everybody in chat that's been joining us. It's been great. I think with that, we will go to outro, and we will see you next time.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye.